Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets a call from French President Emmanuel Macron. The leaders exchange views on efforts for peaceful resolution of Ukraine and Gaza conflicts and ways to further strengthen India-France ties. Indian and Russian foreign ministers hold talks in Moscow, reaffirm shared ambition to expand bilateral trade. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar dubs India-Russia ties as steadiest among major relations in the world. The Russian foreign minister says Putin is open to meet Ukrainian leader Zelensky if all key issues are resolved beforehand, including concerns over Ukrainian president's legitimacy. And in a possible breakthrough, a Ukrainian man is arrested in Italy under suspicion of coordinating the 2022 undersea Nord Stream pipelines attacks. Also, Israel announces first steps of operation to take over Gaza City. Areas to the northwest and southeast of Gaza City are targeted. It also approves a settlement project which splits the West Bank into two parts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday received a phone call from French President Emmanuel Macron. The leaders exchanged views on the ongoing efforts for peaceful resolution of conflicts in Ukraine and West Asia. President Macron shared assessment on the recent meetings held between the leaders of Europe, US and Ukraine in Washington. He also shared his perspectives on the situation in Gaza. Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's consistent support for peaceful resolution of the conflicts and early restoration of peace and stability. The leaders also reviewed progress in the bilateral cooperation agenda, including in the areas of trade, defense, civil nuclear cooperation, among others. They reaffirmed a joint commitment to strengthen India-France strategic partnership and mark 2026 as Year of Innovation in a befitting manner. President Macron also conveyed support for early conclusion of free trade agreement between India and the European Union. The leaders agreed to remain in touch on all issues. And India's Minister for External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar, who is on an official visit to Russia, called on Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday for talks on issues of bilateral, regional and global interest. Dr. Jaishankar's visit to Moscow aims to further strengthen the time-tested India-Russia partnership. And earlier in the day in Moscow, Dr. Jaishankar also met with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on Thursday itself. The leaders held talks on political relationship and reviewed bilateral ties between India and Russia. The visit aims to further strengthen the long-standing India-Russia ties. Dr. Jaishankar, along with his counterpart, also held a joint media briefing. Speaking at the press conference, the External Affairs Minister said that India and Russia have been the steadiest of the major relationships in the world after the Second World War. During the meeting, both the countries reaffirmed shared ambition to expand bilateral trade in a balanced and sustainable manner.
The relations between India and Russia have been among the steadiest of the major relationships in the world after the Second World War. We reaffirmed our shared ambition to expand bilateral trade in a balanced and sustainable manner, including by increasing India's exports to Russia. This requires swiftly addressing non-tariff barriers and regulatory impediments, enhancing Indian exports to Russia and sectors like pharmaceuticals, agriculture and textiles will certainly help to correct the current imbalance.
Meanwhile, Russian FM Lavrov said that Russia and India have achieved good results in energy cooperation and Moscow is interested in further joint energy projects with New Delhi.
We have good results in cooperation in the sphere of hydrocarbons and the supply of Russian oil to the Indian market. and we have a mutual interest in implementing joint projects for the extraction of energy resources, including in the Russian Federation, in the Far East, and on the Arctic shelf.
На Дальнем Востоке и на Арктическом шельфе.
The Russian Foreign Minister also said that President Putin is prepared to meet Ukraine's President Zelensky, but all issues must be worked out first, and there's a question about Zelensky's authority to sign a peace deal. While responding to another question, Lavrov also said that any presence of European troops in Ukraine would be absolutely unacceptable.
Как сейчас дискуссии показывают, Запада с украинской стороной.
As discussions between the West and Ukraine currently show, all these plans are essentially about providing guarantees for intervention, foreign military intervention in some part of Ukrainian territory. And I hope strongly that those who are entertaining such plans, whether they are simply trying to attract attention or not, understand what the consequences will be. This would be absolutely unacceptable for the Russian Federation and to all rational political forces in Europe.
И для всех здравомыслящих политических сил в Европе.
The Italian police has arrested a Ukrainian national suspected of coordinating the 2022 Nord Stream pipeline attacks. Identified as Serhiy K under German privacy laws, he is accused of helping plant explosive devices near Denmark's Bornholm Island. Acting on a European arrest warrant, authorities say he faces charges of sabotage, collusion to cause an explosion and destruction of property. Carabinieri officers detained him overnight in Rimini on Italy's Adriatic coast. German prosecutors confirmed the arrest, while Italian police offered no immediate comment. Now, in the latest news from West Asia, Israel's military took its first steps of an operation to take over Gaza City. Israel caught up tens of thousands of army reservists and is pressing ahead with its plan to seize Gaza's biggest urban center. It currently holds about 75% of the Gaza Strip. Earlier, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, approved this military plan, piling pressure on the Hamas as mediators push for a ceasefire. The Hamas had accepted the latest proposal from mediators for a ceasefire. Israel's security cabinet, chaired by Benjamin Netanyahu, approved the plan to take over Gaza City in early August. The framework that the Hamas had approved proposes an initial 60-day truce, a staggered hostage release, and freeing of some Palestinian prisoners and provisions allowing for the entry of aid into Gaza. And Israel also approved a major settlement project on Wednesday in an area of West Bank that the international community has warned threatens the viability of a future Palestinian state. Israel aims to build on 12 square kilometer parcel known as E1 just east of Jerusalem, but the plan had been stalled for years amid international opposition. UN Chief Antonio Guterres said the fresh settlement poses an existential threat to a contiguous Palestinian state.
And talking about peace, I must reiterate that it is vital to reach immediately a ceasefire in Gaza and the unconditional release of all hostages, and to avoid the massive deaths and destruction that a military operation against Gaza City would inevitably cause. Simultaneously, the decision by the Israeli authorities to expand illegal settlement construction which would divide the West Bank must be reversed. All settlement construction is a violation of international law.
Thailand's billionaire Shinawatra family is bracing for a series of high-stakes court decisions starting on Friday that could test its political resilience, with the prospect of an early election and prolonged trouble for the country's stuttering economy. Thailand's Shinawatra political dynasty has been at the heart of 2 decades of intermittent turmoil, and its latest battles will culminate in rulings very soon. This could unseat Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra for an alleged ethics violation and put her influential but polarizing father Thaksin back in prison. A court will on Friday rule if Thaksin, during a 2015 media interview, insulted the powerful monarchy a serious crime in Thailand which carries lengthy jail terms of up to 50 years. Another court will decide 18 days later if the tycoon's 2023 detention in a VIP hospital wing instead of jail means his prison sentence for abuse of power and conflicts of interest was not fully served. Both the Shrivatras have denied any wrongdoing. The US and Venezuela appear to be heading towards a standoff, with neither country indicating a willingness to back down, as US is deploying 3 warships off the coast of Venezuela as part of its efforts to curb drug trafficking. The deployment comes as the Trump administration steps up pressure on Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, doubling its bounty of $50 million earlier this month on drug charges. The 3 Aegis-class guided missile destroyers are headed to the waters of Venezuelan coast. The US media has reported that Washington was also planning to send 4,000 Marines to the region. Washington, which does not recognize Maduro's past 2 election victories, accuses him of leading the Cartel de los Soles, which is the cartel of the Sun's cocaine trafficking gang. And Venezuela's Maduro has slammed US military deployment in the Caribbean as a threat to regional peace and a violation of international law. Speaking to at the Alba TCP summit, Maduro accused the US of using anti-drug operations as a pretext for intervention and falsely linking Venezuela to terrorism. The United Nations Security Council convened for a briefing on Secretary General Antonio Guterres' latest report on Daesh. The assessment concluded that the terror group remains resilient, with Africa now emerging as its epicenter. The Islamic State West Africa province is estimated to command between 8,000 to 12,000 fighters, with the group's presence in consolidating along the Niger-Nigeria border.
The reporting period, a resurgence in the activity of Islamic State in the Greater Sahara was observed, while Islamic State West Africa province emerged as a prolific producer of terrorist propaganda and attracted foreign terrorist fighters, primarily from within the region.
During the session, FATF President Elisa de Anda Madrazo stressed that the shutting down of financial flows is key to choking terrorism, highlighting how digital platforms, online gambling and social media are increasingly being exploited to fund these operations by younger lone actors.
In parallel, the threat posed by lone individuals radicalized by ISIL ideology, and these are often young in age, is rising, with such actors relying on microfinancing strategies that rely both on licit funds but also on petty crime activity, as well as technology-enabled methods that include gambling online, which we call gaming, and social media features.
Now the latest updates in the case of Hurricane Erin. Well, the storm flooded a motel and a road along the coast of Buxton, North Carolina on Wednesday, triggering strong waves. National Hurricane Center has rated Erin as a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. The gusty winds have prompted red flag warnings against swimming, and authorities have urged caution as Erin moves north, with rough surf expected to continue into Thursday. Hurricane Erin is one of the 5 North Atlantic storm systems to reach Category 5 status the fastest. Earlier, Erin swirled over the Atlantic Ocean. On Monday, Erin passed through Central America and re-intensified into a Category 4 storm, whereas on Sunday, the U.S. National Hurricane Center downgraded it to Category 3 as wind speed eased slightly. Erin was recategorized as a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane on Saturday. It began as a tropical storm on the 11th of August, and over the course of these days, Erin has evolved, especially during the past 10 days, causing major shifts in the climate patterns in the entire region. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. A Nigerian prosthetics firm called Immortal Cosmetic Art has developed bionic arms for amputees that work with electromyography signals sent from the brain to different hand muscles of an amputee. The firm is seeking financial support, which will make prosthesis affordable for Nigerians. Tall ships from around the globe paraded into Amsterdam for a maritime festival with crews from Peru, Uruguay, Germany and France. Amsterdam's 5-day maritime festival is a celebration of ships, sailors and the city's seafaring past that's expected to draw between 2.3 to 2.5 million visitors. In Abu Dhabi, a garment collector, Hosam Jabbar, has preserved the kandura in a museum. Kandura is a traditional loose-fitting cotton garment worn by men across the UAE and has maintained its cultural significance while adapting to contemporary life. Jabbar's collection includes antique bishts. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. India's astronaut group captain Shubhanshu Shukla shares his experiences with the media on board the International Space Station. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Bihar and West Bengal on Friday and is set to inaugurate major infrastructure projects.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, also member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, arrived in Kabul on Wednesday morning to visit Afghanistan and attend the 6th China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers Dialogue. Prior to the trilateral meeting, Wang held talks with his Afghan counterpart, Amir Khan Muttaqi. Wang's visit to Afghanistan follows his trip to India from Monday to Wednesday. He'll also later visit Pakistan from Wednesday to Friday. Now, the monsoon session of Indian Parliament, which commenced on the 21st of July, has been adjourned sine die on Thursday. The Parliament passed the Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Bill 2025 with the upper house of the Rajya Sabha approving it on Thursday. The bill, which was passed in the lower house of the Lok Sabha on Wednesday, was moved in the upper house by Minister for Electronics, Information and Technology Ashwini Vaishnav, and it aims to promote and regulate online gaming and put a complete ban on money gaming in India.
माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, ऑनलाइन गेमिंग एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट एक विषय है जो एक डिजिटल की दुनिया में एक महत्वपूर्ण सेक्टर बनके उभरा है। उपसभापति महोदय, इसके 3 सेगमेंट हैं। इस बिल में ई स्पोर्ट्स को प्रमोट किया जाएगा, उसके लिए एक अथॉरिटी बनाई जाएगी और इसको एक लीगल रिकॉग्निशन मिलेगा।
Earlier, Home Minister Amit Shah also moved the Constitution 130th Amendment Bill 2025, which has been referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. Meanwhile, a total of 15 bills were passed by the Rajya Sabha during the monsoon session. And the 5th session of the 18th Lok Sabha was also marked by frequent disruptions by the opposition on several issues. During the monsoon session, 14 bills were introduced and 12 were passed by the Lok Sabha, including the Indian Institutes of Management Bill, the Indian Ports Bill, the Merchant Shipping Bill, the Anti-Doping Bill, the National Sports Governance Bill and the much-debated Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Bill, among others. The lower house on Wednesday also saw the introduction of the crucial Constitution 130th Amendment Bill, which aims to decriminalize politics and bring in more accountability in political power circles. And the Parliament also witnessed a thorough debate lasting more than 36 hours combined in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha on India's successful military offensive against terrorism, Operation Sindoor.
ये सत्र 31 जुलाई 2025 को आरंभ हुआ था। इस सत्र में 14 सरकारी विधेयक पुनर्स्थापित किए गए तथा कुल 12 विधेयक पारित किए गए। दिनांक 28 और 29 जुलाई को ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर विशेष चर्चा हुई, जिसका समापन माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के उत्तर के साथ हुआ। दिनांक 18 अगस्त 2025 को भारत के अंतरिक्ष कार्यक्रम की उपलब्धियों पर विशेष चर्चा प्रारंभ की गई।
India's Minister of State for Earth Sciences and Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh, highlighted India's benchmarks in the space sector. He also said that the space component is going to be a great value addition to our economic goals.
There are more than 300. What also I think he should have mentioned is that our space economy was almost dismal, not even worth mentioning. Today we are $8 billion, and the manner in which we are progressing, our projections indicate that in just next 8 to 10 years we'll be going up nearly 5 times, maybe $45 billion, which otherwise means that as we move on from economy number 4 to 3, 2 and 1, space component is going to be a major value addition to the future economy growth.
And addressing the media, the same briefing, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla shared his experience of the historic Axiom 4 mission. The Indian astronaut further said that the information he gained will be extremely useful for the country's upcoming missions.
Being a part of this mission, we witnessed an end-to-end execution of a human spaceflight mission, and the learnings that are gained are much beyond the textbooks and the material that we have. Like, the experience, small things, small stuff that you see every day happening. Why are they important? And what would happen if you miss it? And then during our mission, there were certain things that happened, the contingencies which were slightly off nominal, and that also helps you understand why these missions are so complex, and what is important. So I think the value of being a part of such mission is really immeasurable, like the minister was mentioning, that it is, the information gained is much more and much beyond than what is the defined objective of the entire mission.
And addressing the same conference, chairperson of the Indian Space Research Organization, that's ISRO, V. Narayanan, said that India has made phenomenal and exponential progress in the last years in the space fair. He added that missions completed during 2015-2025 have doubled since the previous decade.
Last 10 years, if you see, the progress is phenomenal, exponential. With respect to missions, the number of missions targeted in 2015 to 2025 is almost double compared to 2005 to 2015. During the last 6 months, if you see, very important, 3 important missions are accomplished. Please move the slide, whoever is operating. And Axiom 4 mission is a very prestigious mission. We have successfully accomplished, and the first Indian is sent safely to International Space Station and brought back safely. You are having the Gaganyaan 3 with us, Subhashan Shukla ji.
And earlier in the day, Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla also met Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Rajnath Singh said that Group Captain Shukla's inspiring journey will motivate young minds to pursue careers in science, technology and space exploration. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Bihar and West Bengal on Friday. During his visit to Bihar, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate key development projects including the Onta-Simaria Bridge project, an 8.15 kilometer long bridge on NH31, including the 1.86 kilometer long 6-lane bridge over the river Ganga, constructed at the cost of over 1,870 crore Indian rupees. In line with his commitment to world-class infrastructure and developed urban connectivity, the PM will also inaugurate metro railway projects in Kolkata. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code, download the app. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.